How I made my GLP-1 work for me. Hi, I'm Dina, and welcome to my channel, Living Mosaic. Thanks for joining me. I'm doing a GLP-1 journey, and I'm talking to you about how I made my GLP-1 work for me. And this is going to be a three-parter. So follow me into part one, and then stay tuned for 2 and 3 as they come out. Begin by telling you my story and how it all began a little bit. Something I knew was seriously wrong with me physically. I was consistently feeling lethargic, especially in the mornings. I struggled desperately to get out of bed and to wake up and just literally physically move. It was so hard for me. And I remember lying in bed and in the morning when the alarm went off and just really praying and asking God to just help me get out of bed. That's how hard it was for me to physically move. Like, I wasn't in pain, but my lethargy was just really bad. And I was not getting valuable restorative sleep. And by the way, I was not eating well. I was drinking caffeine or sugary drinks like lemonade. So it was sweet tea or lemonade every day. And it was just very difficult to get up and move. Once I was up, I was okay. But my body was really inflamed. That's what I believe to be the case now. My body was really inflamed, and it hurt to sometimes walk because my knees felt stiff. My left hip was achy when I walked any kind of length of time. And to top it all off, um, I was having some, which came out of the blue, heart palpitations. So that really worried me. And it worried me enough that I went back to the doctor. I had recently had blood work, and consistently my A1C was in the double digits, and it was just untreated. And I was rebellious, and I didn't do anything about it. I just kept saying, no, I don't want to take that medication or this medication. And so when I was having these heart palpitations, that's really what concerned me, which you would think, wow, consistently for years my A1C was high, but that didn't really concern me enough to go to the doctor and do something about it. But I just am not a medication type person, and so I didn't want to be on a prescription medication. So I avoided the question. I avoided it. And so I was truly concerned. And I went and got tests for my heart, whatever they wanted, more heart monitor. All in all, it came back that I was fine. It was just something that just occurred, and it wasn't anything serious. So that was great, right? But in the midst of this, I was talking to my doctor about my A1C being so high during this process when I was going to find out about the heart palpitations. And that's kind of what started me with a change in mindset. She knew that I was kind of like into the like more natural stuff, but I also wasn't doing anything. I wasn't physically doing anything to make sustainable and positive, healthy changes to my life. And I really just feel like I was in denial mentally. I was in denial that this was a problem, that I was labeled a type 2 diabetic. I'm not into labels. I don't like labels, and I don't want to be called something that I didn't believe I was. So I definitely was in denial. So with these numbers and the way I was feeling in mind, my mindset changed. I really wanted help. So my doctor gave me some different ideas, but she also threw in, hey, what about Mounjaro? It's been proven to lower A1C, and it'll help you lose weight in the meantime. So that kind of struck a chord with me in a positive way. And I was like, okay, two birds with one stone. I think that's something that I could probably do. And I decided to take the samples, came back home, Didn't take it right away, waited a few days, just kind of laid that down in my room and did a little research because I am the kind I want to kind of see what's going on here. And like I said, I'm not into pharmaceuticals really. So that's not something I was going to rush into, even though I had the free samples and and I believed her, I knew from her word that it would be effective. So after doing research, I decided to go ahead and take the injection. It was super easy in the Mounjaro pen. And for those of you who are new to looking at GLP-1s, this is what the pen looks like. And it was so easy. It was basically take this little gray thing off, right? Like that. And once you take it off, okay, you twist it from lock to unlock. Doop, doop, and it's not going to do it because this is used. And then you just press it up against a clean skin and push the little button, and there you go. It's injected. So it was super easy. And so by day 2, I noticed there was no food noise, and that was wonderful to not be able to have a constant, what are you gonna have for lunch? I wasn't a breakfast eater. What are you gonna have for lunch? What are you gonna have for dinner? Always thinking about food. Everything was about food. And even like going on vacation, it was surrounded by food. It was like, okay, so we want to go here, and then what are we gonna eat when we get there? Like these things, like pre-planning. And it was just absolutely insane to me now that I see and look back. So I would say this whole entire journey in making my GLP-1 work for me began with changing my mindset. I really had to stop with the whole rebellion, I guess, is for lack of a better term. I was rebellious. I was a rebellious patient, and I just did not want to do what they told me to do. I do think that it all worked out and it was according to, this greater plan that I got to that point where I was so desperate and feeling so poorly that I was willing to, at that point, listen. Okay, I was at that point ready to listen. So I would just say that in this part 1 video, I truly made my GLP-1 work for me first and foremost by having a change in mindset because it allowed me the ability to really see things from a new lens and have the perspective that this is an opportunity for health. It is a tool that's going to help me get healthy. And I didn't even realize at the time how well that was going to work. So it was quite amazing to see the progress over time. That was back in July. So it's been a little over 4 months. And I've definitely seen how progressive things have been with my health. And I will share more in my part 2 video. So just remember, change in mindset really does give you a fresh new start. And stay tuned for my part 2. And I'll tell you all about that when I get there. In the meantime, hit like and subscribe and share. I hope you enjoyed this little snippet of how I made my GLP-1 work for me. And if those of you who are new, hang with me in the journey and kind of see how I progress and the things that I can share and hopefully you can relate to and you will find value with. And remember that all of our experiences, both good and bad, make us who we are and create in us this beautiful living mosaic. And remember, you are a living mosaic. And until next time, bye.